Zack Snyder's new movies, Rebel Moon, that's supposed to be coming out in the following months, is a marked shift in Netflix and how they're actually producing content moving forward. In the past, they were focusing on a more quantity over quality approach, and now they want to change focus and actually reduce the amount of stuff they're putting out in order to try to focus on putting out just quality content. So hearing this, you're probably thinking, like, isn't this just Netflix kind of admitting that the stuff they've been putting out hasn't been good because they've been focusing on quantity? And yeah, you would actually be right. In fact, they've pretty much admit that a lot of this information is coming from Scott Stuber, who is a senior executive over at Netflix. And this is what he had to say when questioned about this whole subject. We were a growing new studio. We'd only been doing this for a few years and we were up against 100-year-old companies. So you have to ask yourself, what is your business model? And for a while, it was just making sure that we had enough. We needed volume. I think it's commendable that they're trying to shift focus now and pay more attention to putting out quality content as opposed to quantity. But my biggest issue is I don't have confidence that's what they're doing when it comes to Rebel Moon. Now, don't get me wrong, this actually does look like something decent in recent years, and I kind of like the idea behind it. But I don't know if this, or at least what they're doing with Rebel Moon, is more of the quality over quantity approach. And that's because we got information like this coming out. This is from Game Rant talking about what they plan on doing to establish the lore behind Rebel Moon, because Zack Snyder says there's like 800 years of lore that they're trying to establish for this. And this is the kind of stuff they're putting out for Rebel Moon. Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon Part 1 is just the beginning of a larger franchise that includes a sequel, a narrative podcast, and an animated comic book, an animated series, and a co-op game. All that content that they're putting out for Rebel Moon really doesn't strike me as something a studio would be doing if they're trying to focus more on a quality over quantity approach. I mean, this just strikes me as kind of more of the same, where you get an idea that the studio likes it or like already greenlighting it for a franchise before even the first movie has come out. I mean, it's possible the first movie can come out and everyone just absolutely hates it, and then they're stuck with all this stuff, or at least they invested a lot of money in all these things that people aren't even going to care about. Now, is that going to be the case in this? I kind of doubt it, because this does look like it's something interesting, and Zack Snyder does have a decent track record, which I'll get more onto in a minute. But I think the real reason why they're trying to actually cut back on the content is just this article that came out from Vanity Fair back in May. TV streaming bubble has burst. Writers are striking and everybody is freaking out. And like I said, this is coming out from last May, before the actors and writers strike actually started, and those have recently concluded. But if you dive down into this article, you can actually get a little bit more insight of to why they're probably actually doing this with Rebel Moon. Since the Netflix loss of subscribers caused the company's market cap to dip $54 billion last year, and Disney, NBC, Universal, and Paramount collectively accumulated more than $8.3 billion in streaming losses, Wall Street unsurprisingly is second guessing the throw everything at the wall mentality that fueled the streaming arms race. Now Disney, Warner Brothers Discovery, and others have laid off thousands of staffers, pulled the plug on underperforming programming, and vowed to be more cautious. So this whole Rebel Moon thing being the start of Netflix's quality over quantity approach just seems to be more of like something that they were already inclined to do, because what they were doing in the past just wasn't working, and it caused them to lose billions of dollars in market shares. Not to mention, with the strikes that actually did go on, it allowed the studios to call up the force majeure terms within the contracts. And for people who don't know, that basically allows the studios to cancel deals that they might have already established with writers and showrunners for various reasons. Part of the force majeure dance is pretext to shed unwanted deals, be they overly expensive, less than productive, and disfavored deals, as during a regime change or otherwise. While most producers have been content to shut things down, including the payment spigot, and wait it out as their bottom line temporarily gets a bump just in time for the reporting period, in a number of cases it has moved into a put up or shut up time. So this really does come across less as them trying to actually focus more on quality content with stuff like Rebel Moon, and more of them just already willing to cut costs, and they're just using the whole quality over quantity approach as kind of a convenient excuse. Now, is this to say that Rebel Moon is going to be bad? No, I'm not saying that. I'm not also saying it's going to be good either, because I can't make that determination until it actually comes out. But the fact of the matter is, they basically created another franchise before it even got off the ground, and hoping that it would be successful for them. But if it's not, they still also have the Terminator anime series that they're going to put out. So maybe this will be the next big thing if Rebel Moon doesn't work out.